Feels like it's gonna explode. Okay, I'm making this video to announce that I'm stepping away from my work on Instagram. I don't even know where to begin with this. My trip to Costa Rica was very impactful for me. I went there with the intention of connecting to my happiness, my joy, my play, just the light of life again, because I had been quite disconnected from that, not able to connect to those feelings, connect to that frequency in the world, because I was going through so much deep healing and clearing prior to that. And this was all perfect divine plan, and I needed to do that. But in Costa Rica, I really realized why I was there, and connecting back to that light, that joy, that happiness, the play, the adventure of life really felt like connecting back to myself. And I went there just to really retrieve a part of myself that I left the prior time that I was there. On my way back, as you know, I left Costa Rica, and I was very, very upset about leaving Costa Rica. But intuition was telling me it's time, your mission complete, it's done here. And so I came back to my home in Mexico, and the first couple days were very emotional for me, very like just grieving leaving Costa Rica and feeling angry and sad that I had to leave that place, and feeling angry that I felt like I was in a place that I wasn't happy and that I didn't want to be. And I realized the more that I sat with that, it was like, it wasn't necessarily just Costa Rica, it was travel that was making me so happy. Having that realization, I just really started to like contemplate things, especially on the way back. Just really getting the messages, just listening to my heart of like, I'm so happy when I travel. And I know some of you might be thinking like, you've been traveling for the last 3 years or your whole life or whatever, but it's not in the way that I want to do it now. Like, I want to do it differently. I've always been someone who travels to a place and stays there for a month or 2 at a time. I've never been someone to like jump around and hit up multiple countries and just like really dedicate my life to traveling. It's always been this thing where it's like, yes, I'm like traveling, but I'm like living in these places and I'm working in these places. Very like subtle differences, but it was like, I'm going there to live and I'm going there to continue the work that I'm doing. It wasn't just this like free thing where I could just go and travel and like that's all that I was doing. There was always this what it has felt like is like this tether to my work. It's always been on the back of my mind. It's always been that pressure, that like feeling of like, I need to get settled, I need to find a certain place, I can't stay in hostels, I can't stay where there's nowhere that there's no good Wi-Fi, because I need to be with work. And I've planned my life around work, even though, you know, again, it feels like I have a very like free entrepreneurial, like, you know, I can work anywhere I travel. And there's always been like that tether, and in the back of my mind always that pressure to be able to be in places where I can continue working, I can continue launching. And I've been scheduling my life around work still. It's like, okay, this program launches on this date and we start on this date, so that means I'll book my flight for this time. And I realized that it's like, I don't want to plan around work anymore. Like, I want to plan my life and then situate work around my life and my travel. So on the way back from Costa Rica, I just was having these like big realizations, and then also epiphanies, or just not a midlife crisis, but like just this realization of like, my birthday is next week and I'm turning 29, and that is a year away from 30. And to me, that just felt big. And I know that there's a lot of like stigmas or societal standards around whatever and stuff like that. And yes, there's a part of that, because it's like, to me, it's like, eventually I want to meet someone. Eventually I want to have a family and have children. And, you know, I'm almost 30. So it's like, I'll probably be later on that, which is good. But it's like, I have X amount of years before my life changes in that way. And have I done the things that I like really want to do? And a lot of that had to do with travel and just this like healthy urge of like, I need to get going on this stuff. Like, I need to travel to the places that I want to travel. I've been saying, if you hear me speak, I'm always like, oh, I would love to go travel all of South America. I would love to do that. I'd love to do that. It's been so subtle, and I haven't like fully been listening to that right now. Then I, you know, start to have the contemplation of like, okay, I know I want to go travel, but then it was like, how do I fit my work into travel? Like there was this disruption of like, okay, well, I can go travel these places and stay a week here, I stay a week there, but then it becomes difficult because it's like, I can't stay in hostels. I have to make sure that the place has Wi-Fi so I can take clients. Like, I was just really in my mind trying to figure out like, how is my work going to fit into this life that I feel like I want to live right now? I mean, all of this is just so like, sometimes it's hard to even explain how I've like gotten to this point, because I don't even know where a lot of this like started, or a lot of this like the little things that have happened. It's been this little drip of like intuitive guidance and shifting and changes, and it's hard to even trace back where I began with that. And then I was really being asked by my intuition, by spirit, like, what really makes you happy? Like, what is the life that you really want to be living right now? And I was just being very, very honest with myself of like, wow, like I actually haven't been fully living the life that like I want to live. Like, I've been dragging along my work. It felt like one step in, one step out, kind of back and forth, trying to juggle, like not fully into the idea of traveling. And I realized that's really what would make me very happy right now. Yeah, there was just such a strong message, not only for me, but for other people around, like realizing like, what are you holding on to that doesn't actually really feel good anymore? Like, what are you not doing that you want to be doing that truly makes you happy? Like, it's just this whole other level of happiness. And I know that I have had a life that's like quite free in the last few years, just changing my business, making big leaps, but this just feels like a whole new level of freedom to me. And when I admitted to myself of like, I don't want to, like, I want to travel, I don't want to focus on work right now, it felt like I finally let myself free. Like, there was so much liberation in that. It felt like this like truth that I've known for the last couple years, especially. I left my massage therapy job, in January of 2021. And I have had an Instagram account in the sense of like being a creator, being someone who shares and puts out content and talks about health and whatever. Like, that started 5 years ago. And some of you've been with me through it. I started with posting recipes. Before I even went to holistic nutrition school, I was just posting recipes, sharing recipes, healthy recipes. and it has evolved since then. I've went through my holistic nutrition, helping people with that, holistic health. I went through more of like the mental, emotional counseling, trauma healing, subconscious reprogramming, all of that. And then I've shifted to the spiritual side. Like, it has evolved hugely in the last 5 years. And in January of 2021, I quit my like physical massage therapy job in Calgary, and I fully took the leap into online work. So I have been working online specifically through Instagram for 3 years now. And I get that like a lot of entrepreneurs, like everyone uses social media. Everyone uses social media for marketing, for promotion. A lot of the times it's an extension of their physical business. But for me, it is very different. This has been my full-time only job. Like, this has been, and I have successfully launched things. I have made money. I have successfully used Instagram, collaborated with it to support myself in working online from anywhere in the world. I've been able to travel. It's been my full-time, like, it's been my workplace. Instagram, I work essentially at Instagram, you know, and that's actually been great. That's been great, except in the last 2 years. The last 2 years, Instagram has changed. Meta has been controlling Instagram, and I'm an energy healer and intuitive. I see absolutely everything in this world as energy, as a consciousness. I don't just see a tree. I see that tree has a consciousness, that tree has information, feelings, whatever. And Instagram is the same thing. It is a being, it is a consciousness, it is an entity that runs a physical platform. And this entity has basically taken over Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, all of those. And since that has happened, there has been major censorship, really just suppression of a lot of people working through Instagram. This isn't new information. I feel like everyone knows this. And it has been a struggle. Like, it has been a struggle to, like, you know, depend on Instagram for promotion, for marketing. And then meanwhile, this consciousness is not supporting me back, is not supporting a lot of people back. And that's something that I've been feeling into. I mean, I've felt this for the past 2 years, but definitely in the last like week, just really being honest with myself of like, what is my relationship like with Instagram? As if it is another human being. I have a relationship. I am in a relationship. Everyone is to some extent, but like, I'm co-creating with this consciousness. And what's the dynamic? How does it make me feel? It has been extremely unhealthy. It's just suppression. Like, it's like I go to post something and then it's like Instagram gets to choose whether it puts it to the newsfeed, who gets to see it. If I say something, if I talk about, you know, spirituality, that's all I'm about now. It's like, it doesn't approve. It doesn't accept me. It doesn't support me. It doesn't make me feel seen. It literally, not only that, but it hides me. This is a relationship dynamic where someone doesn't accept you for who you are. You can't be your authentic self. You can't talk about what you want to talk about. And this goes back to childhood trauma. This goes back to relationships, you know, and I have worked so hard to remove myself from the relationships that didn't accept me for who I was, where I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel heard. I didn't feel understood. I wasn't supported. I wasn't celebrated. It's the exact same thing happening with Instagram, and I am willing to break up with those people. I'm willing to set new boundaries. I'm willing to say I deserve more. I deserve someone who sees me, understands me, celebrates me. But yet there's this massive consciousness entity relationship that I have to Instagram where I'm still letting that slide, you know, like, and it has gotten so much worse in the last couple years. Like, this is nothing about, you know, my ego wanting likes or views or whatever. Like, it's like, no, like literally I used to have, you know, hundreds, some posts thousands of views, and now it's been to the point where it's like, sometimes Instagram's like, nah, I'm not even gonna show your stuff on newsfeed. Like, it is such suppression. It twings on our wounds. You know, it's like this little girl makes this beautiful post, puts her heart into it, maybe even gets vulnerable, shares what's on her heart, shares what's personal to her, shares her passion, shares her excitement, her joy, and then she goes to show it to someone and they're, you know, they're not there, or they don't like it, or they're like, you know, they're not supportive of it. They don't even see it. You know, like it's such an unhealthy relationship, and it's been like digging at those wounds. And it's like, I go, you know, I post something and it's like, I feel like shit after, you know, it's like, I feel there's guilt that comes up. There's like, of like not feeling like it was enough, like not feeling like I did it right because it didn't, you know, make it to a certain, like it didn't get out there. Like there are so much like behavioral psychology and programming and whatever that goes into making apps like this that just dig at our deepest wounds of really just not being enough. It's not unconditional love. You know, I've always known that. But I've always just tried to change my relationship to it. I've tried to, you know, change myself too, of, you know, I don't really want to post a reel, but that's what's trending, so better post a reel, you know, better not say this word, better not do it this way. And I've tried to do the whole thing of like, well, it doesn't matter, like the people who are gonna see it, they're gonna see it, and you know, nothing's stronger than that, like just keep going, you know, don't take it personally, don't whatever. And it's like, that is like swallowing your feelings and your truth of like how something actually makes you feel. It's enabling you to stay in a relationship that isn't healthy, a dynamic that isn't healthy, something that is like literally pulling on your light, on your energy. It is disempowering. It has disempowered me. There's a lot of times where I'm just like so fed up with like trying to figure out what could work on Instagram or whatever, and then it doesn't. It's like this cycle, like the last 2 years, try to do it this way, do it this way, do it that way, see if this works, see if that works, doesn't work, doesn't work. The word that I can describe it the most is this feeling of being defeated. And that is disempowerment. That is the clearest sign that something, another consciousness, has taken your power away. It's taken, Instagram, social media has taken a lot of my power. That's my light, that's my energy. It is like the most massive siphoning, draining entity, you know, in the world. Again, moving that back to like relationships, it's like I've been in so many dynamics where it's like I have given so much. I've given so much and I've become drained. I've become this siphon for my light, for my energy. And I've said you know, no more with that. I've walked away from things, and it's like this massive relationship is still doing that, and that's just not something that like I want to do anymore. You know, I've been seeing people in the last week, probably as confirmation, leaving Instagram, and it's this hamster wheel. It's like, okay, well, what's next? Everyone's like, okay, what's next? What's next? Go to this place, go off Instagram. Now we're gonna make our own private communities. Now we're gonna do this. And it's like, okay, that's great. And that probably is going to be something that it works very well. But it's still this hamster wheel of like trying to figure it out, trying to work hard, trying to do this, trying to do that. For me, it's like this, like, holy shit, I've been in this like cycle, just this continuous treadmill of like creating. And it's like, I love to create. I've created, I should have counted, like multiple programs, group programs, creations. I've been launching for 3 years, multiple things every year, come up with new offers, new whatever. And it's just like, I'm tired. Like, I'm tired of trying. I'm tired of trying to figure it out. I'm tired of creating, and like creating out of like need, like creating out of like, okay, this offer is expired, or this offer isn't working, so what's next? It's like, I just want to chill. Like, I just want to chill. Like, I love creating, but like, let's do it from fun and play. And a lot of mine have been from fun and play, but it's like, I just need a break. Before I made this video, I was pretty in my head of like, okay, well, I need to make sense of what's happening. Like, I need to be clear in my mind of what's happening, what I'm gonna do, how it's shifting, so that I can effectively communicate that to you so that we're on the same page. You know, I am a very good communicator, but I don't know what's happening. I don't know if, you know, I might change my mind. Maybe I just need a break. Maybe it's just gonna be a month and I'll come back and whatever. I actually don't think that right now. There's a lot of things telling me that that isn't the case, and just giving myself permission to just like not know and not be able to tell you like what's happening or what it's gonna look like or how to do whatever, because it's like, again, I don't know, and I'm tired and I don't want to try to figure it out. Like, so it takes so much mental space to just, and it's just like, all I know right now is that I don't want to promote and market my services on Instagram. I'm saying that because it's the major platform that I use. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. And I don't know where I'm going from here, but also like, I've been in this position before. I know that when you let go of things and you take big leaps, like, I know I'll be supported, and maybe there's an opportunity that is like, you know, offline or something. What I do know is that I'm not going to be hosting the School of Magic. I'm not going to be putting videos in my membership, the Rainbow Field, and I'm not going to be doing my one-to-one sessions. Those are basically my 3 offers right now. It might be like request only 4 sessions. I don't know, and I don't need to know. All I know is like what the decision and the step is right in front of me right now, and I do know that my heart is screaming to just be let free and be liberated and even more into my free-spiritedness. I want to travel. I want to go to different places, and whatever is meant for me after that, I know will come to me, and we'll see. So I'm still gonna be on Instagram, I think. unless I change my mind on that as well. But I do really like still sharing my life, and I think that's very impactful for people to see. But I think it will probably be more of like a personal account, which actually makes me really excited. Thank you for listening. Thank you for everyone who's like ever supported me. Honestly, it has meant so much. Like the engagement, the likes, the comments, the messages. When you're dealing with a relationship like this, it's like, that's like a guiding light. It's like, okay, this is why I was doing this. So thank you, and I'm excited. I'm really excited. There has been, you know, nervousness to talk about this. I've been feeling a lot of grief and sadness and death with this and letting go of this, but I've also felt so much certainty and truth and freedom and liberation from this. It has felt like this truth that I have known for a long time, and it has felt so certain to me. There's been times in my life where I've made decisions and I've made leaps and whatever, and there's, you know, this feeling of like doubt, or like, I don't know, should I do this, should I not, like, you know, this hesitation, this resistance, and I have not felt any of that with this. It's like so certain. It has been predestined. It is fate. It is a very specific point in my soul's plan that this was gonna happen, and I feel that. I feel that so deeply. It's like I remember saying at this point, this is what's gonna happen. So, yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys.